What's the word? Happy Thursday night. You guys have found another edition of Cheesesteaks Intakes, the only multi-generational Philadelphia sports podcast, deep into the preseason of the NFL. Fellas, we got Troy the Wonder Boy, Uncle Chuck on, Noah Butler, biggest Jalen Hurts fan, on as well. And Jeremiah, we have a special guest on. Jeremiah, we've had Jeremiah on before. Big time Dallas Cowboys fan, manager at Apple, co-worker with Chuck. Glad to have him back on this episode to talk some Cowboys, to talk some week one preview for the Cowboys and Giants, and to talk about what he feels like Dallas is going to do this year. Jeremiah, welcome back on. Good to see you.
Thank you guys for having me back. I'm always loving to come on and talk about my boys, America's team. So it's just another opportunity.
Wow, I love the confidence. Love it. Last time you were on, you were like, I don't know if the Dallas is ever going to win a game again.
Listen, they always have a lot of confidence before the season starts.
Yeah,
It's during the season, that confidence kind of gets shot down a
Right.
little bit. But
During the season, during the playoffs.
maybe it'll be different this year.
We'll see. I'm not if you guys know last time, I wasn't as enthusiastic. Like I said, that 2 years ago, that Packers game really, you guys, Chuck, that Packers game, man, it took me, I was done. But we're always a Cowboys fan, so we have a lot to discuss.
So we've been. I remember that weekend, the Packers weekend. You were super down. I was, I tried to be classy, and not.
He was happy. It's okay.
I was happy. Dallas saw us like an Eagles win, so there's that. Sorry, Cole. What were we saying?
No, I was going to say we've been diving deep into the Eagles camp and what's been going on with, the rookies, Mekhi Lemon, the defense, new additions, no offensive coordinator. But wanted to ask Jeremiah what have been like the hottest notes from Cowboys camp that have been going on the past few weeks and what he has been listening to the most in regards to his Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I think I got some key preseason / off season kind of takeaways for the Dallas Cowboys. I think it was pretty apparent that our defense was what lacked last year. We had the worst defense in the league by points given away, over 30 points a game. So I think it was good to see that Dallas kind of attacked our biggest weakness, which is defense. I think it started at the draft. 5 of the 7 picks were on defense. Your 2 first-round picks, Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence are defenders. You pick up some key free agents who are defense, Rashawn Gary, Jalen Thompson, PJ Locke, just trying to add depth to it. So I think that's kind of great. And also you pay who I think is going to be a cornerstone for us, like Quentin Williams, huge D tackle, one of the best in the league. You pay him. And, we don't really like to pay people big money or there's always some disputes when it comes to the Dallas about contracts, but there was no fuss about that. I think Jerry Jones and company understood that, it starts in the middle. And then really shout out the Eagles for letting us get it. Christian Parker. He seems as advertised in terms as a great communicator, teaching the fundamentals. Obviously, he is a rookie defensive coordinator. He hasn't really called any games yet, but everything I hear about that has been good. And then honestly, we're going to ask for some contributions from people who are year 1, year 2, whether that's the cornerback Revel, whether that's this rookie Barham, who is a thumping linebacker who's been doing really good. We expect Caleb Downs to be someone who contributes immediately. And I think the biggest thing too is our offseason has been quiet, There hasn't been any drama. It could have been drama with George Pickens, with the franchise tag or anything like that. Nope. He showed up to training camp day 1. He's been a model, player. So honestly, it's been really, really quiet. There's no controversy, no big craziness, which is actually kind of new as a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah, before we get into the weeds of the Dallas Cowboys, I do want to start it with some low-hanging fruit, and that's, your quarterback, Dak. We have had numerous arguments in the break room about, and we're going to talk about Jalen later and how you feel about Jalen. Tell me, what you see as success for Dak. And not only that, but as quarterbacks as a whole, because you're on Jalen a lot, and usually when you win a Super Bowl, it ends all arguments. But it hasn't. Not only you, but just the national media. They still come at him. What do you see as Dak for success, and just overall, what do you see a quarterback? What do you see a quarterback like being successful?
I think you need a mix of postseason accolades and regular season accolades. I think Dak has proven over the years that he is a producer. If Dak is healthy and he plays 16 or 17 games, Dallas will pretty much be guaranteed to have a top 5 offense. He is almost guaranteed to have 4,000 plus yards, 30 plus touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty apparent. Now, obviously, there's some worry about his health sometimes. Like, is he going to play the 17 games? And I think, obviously, Dallas has done him a service with getting someone like George Pickens and having wide receivers. And we've had a different wide receivers come in and out. Like, Amari Cooper has been it and stuff like that. So, Dallas makes sure that, we have talent to get him the ball. I think obviously Dak's weakness, and really this is where it gets kind of tough, is that it's postseason success. And I'm big as someone that postseason success, especially teams that go to the Super Bowl, that is a team stat. But I do think that ultimately you are judged by your regular season and your playoff success. So I think a very successful year for Dak probably looks like him performing well in the playoffs, because if he's healthy, it's almost a foregone conclusion that Dak will be one of the top quarterbacks in the league when it's all said and done this year in terms of like stats.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair argument. I postseason success. I think winning a Super Bowl trumps everything. I think
Sure, yeah.
If you don't have like regular season success like other quarterbacks, but you win a Super Bowl, I think it does kind of just eliminate any negativity you might be getting. And again, I don't want to make this about Jalen yet. I do want your opinion on him later. Let's talk about George Pickens. When the Steelers traded him to you guys last year, I was like, what are they doing? You're right. There hasn't been any like noise from the Cowboys on anyone that like needs a new contract. Do you think he's like just playing it out? Like they can franchise him again next year, can't they?
Yeah, if they want to spend that much money. But the tough part about a franchise tag is all that money counts against your cap immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, they could franchise tag him again, but if he has another year like he did last year, I would expect Dallas to probably just eat it and sign him long term.
Yeah, when I look at that offense, it does scare me. Last year, I got a little bit of a hard time from the guys on the podcast when I said, I thought Dallas would be really tough. I thought they'd make the playoffs, and your defense held you back. Caleb Downs, great pick. Seems like a perfect fit for what you guys needed. Your linebackers seem a little weak. Other than that, like, tell me about the defense. What are you hearing? How are they performing in practice? And the starters probably aren't playing in the preseason, but how are they doing overall?
Yeah, I think the defense. I want to start by saying, and I've said this to you, is I'm not looking for the Dallas Cowboys defense to be top 10. I'm probably not even looking for them to be top half of the league. I'm looking for a defense that isn't last in the league. And I'm looking for a defense who had the second worst defense in our history. And the one that was number one was the first time like we became the Dallas Cowboys like in the 60s, right? Like this is how bad our defense was last year. The things I'm hearing and seeing is like the defensive line looks really good. Like you got Quinnen Williams and he's going to be like in the middle and doing his thing. And you got Clark, another big defensive tackle, got him from the Packers, who like still has it. We're big thumpers up front. We want to stop the run first and foremost. That's kind of where I think you're going to see us in a lot of 3-4 fronts, just really trying to stop the run. I agree with you with linebackers. If we're going from like defensive line to like where the linebackers are, I think we have young, promising players, but like Overshown, who's like a really energetic linebacker, needs to prove to me that he can stay healthy. When he's on the field, he's great, but he has to stay healthy. We do have this rookie, Barham, 4th-rounder. Man, he looks like he could be somebody special. But once again, it's preseason, it's training camp, so I'm not necessarily expecting big things. And then in terms of the secondary looks very much improved, which is great because last year, I mean, you could do a double move on Dallas's secondary and you can get a touchdown. And I think about the first game of the season against the Giants, and we're just trading deep bombs with the Giants and Russell Wilson. And
That was a great game.
I was like, what is going on? Like, why? How are we they just throw a bomb to neighbors and no one can defend it? Like, you knew it was coming. It was kind of disheartening to hear. And I think like it all comes together, like I said, with Christian Parker. But he's like a first-time defensive coordinator, so we'll see how that goes. But once again, I'm not expecting the Cowboys to be a top 10 defense. I'm not expecting us to be top half. But if you can tell me at the end of the year that we finish anywhere between 22 to 17 ranked defense, I'll take that, considering what I expect this offense to be.
Is there any expectation of defenses catching up to the Cowboy offense?
That's a good question. I think a lot of this offseason, we've kind of just understood that the offense will still look good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is all under the assumption that we will still have an elite offense. I think that we're adding some wrinkles to the game. Like George Pickens, a knock on George Pickens has been like, he's moving around the line now, right? He's not just like the X receiver. We got George Pickens in the slot now. He's in motion now. Like another full off season, really dialed in, only is going to make George Pickens that more deadly. Like CeeDee Lamb has a really good off season that he stays healthy. Our wide receiver 3, Flournoy, who had some really impressive games last year, looking phenomenal. For me, I think for us, like Javonte Williams, he had a really good year, but I think I would have liked to see us to maybe improve our running back a little bit, just because like he is older, and yes, he had a really good year, but I think that's the one thing where I said, I'll give like our running backs and our running game like a B, but I do expect the offense to still be elite, especially if Dak is healthy.
Speaking of CeeDee Lamb, real quick, Jeremiah, what are your expectations for CeeDee Lamb going into this year? Obviously, with George Pickens, some people think he's not even the number 1 in Dallas anymore. How do you think he's handling that noise, if at all? If he's having a problem with that, maybe at all? I have seen like his body language at times just not be the best. So, like, what are your expectations? What are your thoughts about CeeDee Lamb and his state on the team right now?
Good question. I think my expectations of CeeDee Lamb is I need CeeDee Lamb to catch the ball. CeeDee is a really great receiver who has some issues dropping the ball. So it's such an interesting phenomenon when like someone who's an elite wide receiver who you see him catch some of the craziest balls, but then will drop the easy ones. I need CeeDee to kind of get that under wraps. And I do hear the noise from people saying, is George Pickens better than CeeDee? And it's probably getting louder, especially after last year when CeeDee got hurt. What I expect from CeeDee, if he can stay healthy, is that CeeDee will have 100+ receptions. So I'm expecting a really, really good year out of CeeDee. Him and Dak have such a great connection. And honestly, there will be games where, CeeDee probably has 4 catches and George has 13. But there also will be games where it's the opposite and George may have 4 or 5 and CeeDee might have 12 or 13. I think when you have 2 elite wide receivers, it might be hard for them from a competitive standpoint because, wide receivers are divas. So, I'm sure CeeDee in the back of his head is like, I'm better than George Pickens. Like, and I hear that they're great friends. They hang out. They spend all off season together. They went on vacations. But I expect to see CeeDee be very motivated to let people know that he is still a top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Interesting. Just to stay on offense for a little bit, I'm trying to find some weaknesses on the offensive side of the ball. You mentioned the running back, maybe, even though he had a great year last year. What do you think of the head coach as a play caller and just an overall leader? And also, how is the O-line looking for Dallas?
You know, Brian, I was a little bit skeptical on the Brian Schottenheimer, hire. Like, I wanted us to get someone that wasn't already in Dallas. I wanted us to try something new. We never really go for like the up and coming offensive minds, right? We never go from a guy from the McVay tree, from the Ben Johnson tree. We're not looking for the Shanahan tree. We're looking for like tenured coaches who've been here, whose dad worked in the NFL as a coach. That's Dallas's MO. Schottenheimer in his first year was really good. I think as a play caller, he did very well. I think for us, we weren't that good in the red zone. And I say not good, like probably middle of the pack. But I expect us to be better in the red zone this year. This is kind of where I want to see Ryan Schottenheimer do better. I also think we got a little too conservative at times when you have a really great kicker who is almost guaranteed from 60. I saw last year we'd had a conservative play call, and it was like, if we get the first down, it's great. If not, you have a kicker who's like automatic. And like, I want us to kind of go for the kill a little bit more when it comes to play calling. And I think for us, our offensive coordinator, Clayton Adams, he's probably going to be a future head coach in this league too. He used to be the offensive line coach for Arizona. He's brought his offensive philosophy as well. So Schottenheimer runs like a West Coast system, quick passes. You'll see like George Pickens do a lot of slants. You'll see seams and stuff like that. And he blends Clayton Adams' run ability for like zone and power running game. So I think those two together work in tandem. In terms of a weakness where you can kind of get Dallas's offense is probably the right tackle. You get your best player on our right tackle. It's gonna be hard for Dak to do what Dak does, and you'll see us probably have a tight end over there to like chip your best defensive end, defensive tackle. You'll see us mitigate that in some ways because he's really good against the run, but in pass, he will probably give up a good affair of sacks this year if I had to guess. So our right tackle is a place where you can definitely get Dallas.
That's it.
That's
it.
That
your right tackle. That's it. That's all. That's the only weakness.
Our right guard. Booker from New Haven. So shout out Booker. Homegrown talent in New Haven. Like he looked great last year, and he's only going to get better. Our left guard is all pro. Really good center. I guess our left tackle, he had a really good offseason, but he's also young too, right? He's like year 3, but from everything I'm hearing, he's understanding it. He's a former first round. Like we have like 3 first rounders on the offensive line. That's something Dallas is always going to do is draft an offensive lineman in the first round. So I think if one of your offensive linemen isn't good, I think there are ways to scheme it up and to do it to, hide that weakness a little bit.
God. Jerry's been super quiet this offseason. Is he just getting older, or is he letting his football people just run the team? What do you think? Like, you're right. Like, usually the noise that comes from Dallas comes from Jerry, and it's been quiet. What do you think's going on with him?
Jerry was asked that during our opening press conference of training camp. They were like,
he was happy.
Reporters were like, it's been like quiet. Like, how does this feel? Was this intentional? And, Jerry's funny. So he was like, no. Because Jerry even told us, like, he likes to, like, stir it up and kind of rile it up a little bit. He'll give the media something. And then right in that same press conference, he's like, listen, I'm willing to give up first-round talent for a defensive player if I need to. I just talked to an owner last week, and we were like, oh, here we go. Like, you guys said Jerry was too quiet, so now Jerry's going to, like, stir it up. There's a lot of rumors about potentially, like, Dallas looking at getting some defensive help from, like, a big-time player. So we don't really know who that player is. There's a lot of speculation that we're probably looking for someone who can rush the passer. But ultimately, Crosby? I think you're seeing Brian. Yeah, Crosby is like the name that a lot of people bring up. I think you're seeing Brian Schottenheimer's influence over Dallas because he ran the coaching this time in terms of defensive coaching. He's like, Jerry, I'll let Jerry do the defensive coaching. We got Matt Eberflus because he was in Dallas. He's a former head coach. Sounds good. I think we're starting to see our head coach Schottenheimer really show his influence over the Dallas Cowboys.
Before we get your prediction, I want to ask you a question that may wake Noah up a little bit. Well, tell me, and I find it so interesting when I talk to other fan bases. What do you think of Jalen? We've had these conversations. I kind of know what you're going to say. Not only that, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, when you look at the Eagles offense, like who scares you? Like when you're watching a game, like what on the Eagles offense scares you? Is it just the running game? Is it Saquon in particular? Is it AJ's gone right now? Maybe he wasn't a pass for you. Is it Jalen running? Is it what is it that may scare a Dallas Cowboy fan when they look at the Eagles?
I think when it comes to the Eagles, such a well-constructed team from like top to bottom. I tell you this all the time. Howie is such a good GM. He understands.
You do love Howie.
Because he's a GM, and I don't really have a GM. I have a GM / owner / president, but like it's Jerry, so like you never really know. But like I think having a GM who's willing to go for it too, and as a GM, you probably have to do that when there's a threat of you losing your job. But when you're Jerry and you own the team, there is no threat of losing your job, right? You don't have to be as bold as Howie when it comes to like player acquisition and trading and drafting. I think what scares me about the Eagles is it's a team that is just so well constructed. The defense is really good. Your defensive coordinator is probably the best in the game right now. And it's hard to match up with him. And he's a defensive coordinator is one of the defensive coordinators that give Dak actually problems. So I think having an elite defensive coordinator is really good. For a long time, you guys have a really, really good offensive line. Actually, great. It's a little bit older now, a little bit more banged up, but I think it's still solid enough to win. I think you guys have always had like a good running game. Obviously, Saquon 2 years ago was an elite person. I expect Saquon to actually be better this year than he was last year. So I expect that to be good. I think having 2 elite wide receivers definitely gave pause to people. I think Smith is going to be good. I think Smith is a really good receiver. I'm interested now that there is no more A.J. Brown. If I was a defensive coordinator and I was facing the Eagles, I would be like, I want to take Smith out the game, and I want to see is Mekhi Lemon going to be good enough? Goddard, who I actually think Goddard is actually underrated, is he going to be good enough to beat me? I am going to force Jalen to make throws, not to Smith, and I will live with the results. If I get pieced up by your second and third wide receiver and your tight end and you just live with the results, I think you probably see that a lot because you really couldn't do that before because you had another elite wide receiver on the other side who could really give you fits and problems. But I actually expect Smith to also have a really, really good year, all that being said. But if I was a defensive coordinator, I would do that. Now, in terms of your Jalen Hurts question.
Here we go. Get ready to clip this, Kobe.
What do I think about Jalen Hurts? I think Jalen Hurts is a solid quarterback. I think that we've had this conversation. If I had to rank Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, he's somewhere between 11 and the 15th best quarterback in the league.
As far as what? Just pure talent?
I think it's hard. It's like talent. I think you have to look at production. You have to look at probably age because a lot of times people are projecting quarterbacks to be better than him, but I'm not really a big projection guy, right? For example, right? Everyone seems to love Drake May, right? And Drake May has a potential to be a really good quarterback, but for me, I need you to do that more than one time for me to then anoint you as somebody who is great, right? I kind of felt that way about some other quarterbacks who like Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal rookie year, Then the second year was like, oh, okay, this is maybe got injured or something like that, but I need to see you be elite for multiple times. Same thing with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud busted into the league. He was doing great. Now he's not doing so great. So I'm not going to anoint quarterbacks that I've only seen it once, but I do think when it's all like, if I look at all 32 starters in the league, there are probably 10 starters that I would take over Jalen Hurts. And I would actually argue that Eagles fans would also probably take 10 plus more quarterbacks over what they have here. Not to say that doesn't mean that Jalen Hurts isn't good. It just means that I think the way the team is constructed, you would also have had similar success with other quarterbacks. And that's not a knock on Jalen Hurts. That's actually me praising how well the Eagles are constructed.
Well,
I could think of two guys I'd take over Hurts.
Hold on. It sounds like you put a lot of weight on regular season versus playoff success.
I think it's a mix of both.
It doesn't sound like it.
All right,
when
talk to
you
me.
speak, when you talk, it sounds like you're speaking about regular season only, and you're not really factoring in playoff success. Now, when you factor in playoff success, if I just take the regular season out and talk about playoff success, there's only one other quarterback I'm taking over Jalen Hurts, and that's Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Stafford.
Okay.
But he's definitely top 3. Somewhere in the top 3.
Sure. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So you believe that quarterback? So I don't believe that quarterback wins is a stat, right?
You should have a T-shirt made that says that.
I think that quarterbacks obviously have a huge impact on it, but I don't believe that, because you need a mix of both, and that's why I said like he's not like the 20th. But for example, like Colby said that there's 2 quarterbacks that he would take over Jalen. I can't even fathom that there's only 2, right? When I think about it, I could probably name 5 that I probably would want now.
And this is off of pure talent, right? We're just talking talent, not winning.
And notice first it was 10. Now it's 5.
No, he said 15. No. He had Jalen like 11 or 15.
Listen.
Now
I'm
he's
just saying
cleaning
5
it up
off
a
the
little
top
bit.
of my head. Now here's my thing, right? Playoff success is super important, right? But once again,
I think it's the most important thing. It's the most important
right?
thing.
No, sure. And that's why it becomes that is an Eagles accomplishment and not a Jalen Hurts accomplishment.
Okay, so
I can get on the same page with that.
That's fair. But you also, you spoke about Dak earlier, and you mentioned, he'll probably throw for 4,000 yards, and you just kind of bypassed. You mentioned that, his playoff success is not up to par, but you kind of bypassed it. Like the Green Bay game, why did they lose the Green Bay game? That hurt you so much.
Man, everyone was horrible that game. Dak was horrible. CD was horrible. The defense was horrible.
If Dak wasn't horrible, maybe you had a chance.
That particular game, probably not. But I think there were some games that I think those 49ers games that I look at, I was like, dang, our defense played pretty good. You hold that 49ers team to 19 points. That's tough. And that's why I would never say that Dak is a Hall of Famer, right? I think that for me, when people think about Hall of Famers, I think you need both, right? You need playoff success and you need regular season success to be a Hall of Famer. So for me, do I think that Jalen Hurts is probably closer to being a Hall of Famer than Dak? That I can confidently say, because you need both accolades, right? But if Jalen Hurts wants to be an actual Hall of Famer, his regular season stats and accomplishments also need to be better, because we just live in an era where, for example, right, people are going to pick Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen over Jalen Hurts, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, they didn't go to the Super Bowl. They didn't win a Super Bowl. But I think that when you just look at it and you watch the game and you tell me that a team, like if I say like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson on the Eagles could do very similar things in terms of success. I can believe that, right? I believe that. The Eagles are a well-constructed team. That doesn't take away anything from Jalen Hurts. I just think that in terms of throwing the football, there are quarterbacks that I think that you would take. So, for example, right, if you were making and constructing a team and they were like, you get the pick of the quarterbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't constructed the rest of the team. You're picking your quarterback. You're telling me that Jalen Hurts is in your top three. You gotta say, we don't look at the roster, just like quarterback first. You're picking Jalen Hurts.
No.
2 to 3 people.
No, because you asked us as Eagles fans, who would we like instead of Jalen Hurts? As in, like, we love Jalen Hurts. You got to take that into account. So when I say, I mean, we're taking into account age, right? Production, talent. I'm taking Josh Allen and Lamar probably if I had to pick somebody. Like, I'm taking Josh Allen and Lamar over Jalen, considering all those other things. Outside of that, like I'm not taking Dak. Dak hasn't done anything in the playoffs. I'm not taking Justin Herbert, who hasn't done anything in the playoffs. I'm not taking Drake May. We only saw it 1 year, right?
What about Joe Burrow?
Injury prone, right? Not as dynamic with his legs. I probably wouldn't take him. He's a little bit older than Jalen too. So, I mean.
Yeah, I think Kobe makes a good point. And Jeremiah, I don't think you and most non-Eagle fans don't see is the fact that Jalen doesn't turn the ball over. And I think that's huge for playoff success for the Eagles. You're right that maybe winning is not a quarterback stat. It's frustrating for Eagles fans when people say that because you have a coach who has one of the top winning percentages of all time. You have a quarterback who just wins. You talk about regular season accomplishments. Like, what other than winning? Like, what other accomplishments even matter? People dismiss it that he holds onto the ball, he wins games, and at the end of the day, you know, the Eagles are just a really prolific franchise, and he has a lot to do with that. He's made the playoffs ever since he became a full-time starter. To me, it's I don't know. There's this image of what a quarterback should be, and because Jalen doesn't fit that mold, he is ranked lower than quarterbacks that I wouldn't even touch before him.
Listen, I can respect that. I think obviously what he means to Philadelphia and what he's done, like realistically, like you probably shouldn't take other quarterbacks over him. But when I hear what you said, right, that makes a lot of sense, right? There's other quarterbacks who haven't had the success. He doesn't miss the playoffs. But I also wanted to be realistic that for the last 5 years, when those rankings come out about who has the best constructed rosters in the NFL, the Eagles are always at the top of the best well-constructed rosters in the league. And like I said, that is not a knock on Jalen, of course, obviously, because he's part of the roster. But I think when you look from like 2 to 53 over the last 5 years, this is why I give Howie such big praise. This is like, yeah, like you guys had a solid running back, and you know what Howie said? We could do better and get Saquon. All right, like I am going to take something that is good, and I'm going to make it great. Right, I am going to continue to beef up my defensive line and draft, in the first round. And even if I do get someone in the first round, I'm also going to get someone at free agency, so that way I don't expect them to contribute so well, like so big in the first year, right? Other organizations aren't run like that, so I think, and it might actually be unfair to Jalen, right? Because Jalen plays on such a really good team, maybe it is slightly, you're like, well, the wide receivers are really good or have been. The running game is always good, but then you increase it. The defense turned around. You got a really great coordinator. I think some of that probably plays against Jalen, but I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I watch you guys a lot, right? Even if the Cowboys when I'm watching the Eagles. And sometimes you watch it and sometimes it's the eye test, right? And it's just like, I don't expect somebody like Jalen, who like you guys think of the world is, I expected him to be a more prolific thrower of the football, right? Especially when you had two great wide receivers. And maybe that's a knock on your offensive coordinator. Especially last year, definitely wasn't knock on your offensive
There's no maybe
coordinator.
about that.
Last year was bad. So it's kind of tough. And like maybe Jalen Hurts is always the biggest like the toughest quarterback to judge, right? Because he has some of the best postseason success besides Mahomes, right? But even Mahomes is starting to lose a little bit of his mystique. He still is producing well in the postseason, but Mahomes hasn't really been the same guy in the regular season. That's why I think you really do need both when people talk about it. Because realistically, even if Mahomes has whatever he has, if he has another down year, people are going to start looking at Mahomes like, all right, like where is the Mahomes? Where have you been? The same guy from 4 years ago, right? You guys were still winning in the playoffs. It looked ugly, right? And that's more so that they had like an elite defense. So like it's looking ugly. You're winning, but that's why I still think you need both to really be like in part of the upper echelon.
That makes sense. Noah, you had something to say.
Oh yeah, like I agree. Like I don't think quarterback or winning is a quarterback stat like 100%. I think the quarterback definitely plays a part in it. And also, you were talking about the like the best rosters like preseason, like when they grade them out. I think a couple of the quarterbacks you were talking about, like Lamar Jackson, for example. How many times have the Ravens been like, oh, the Ravens are going to be the best team in the league this year? Or like you could say Joe Burrow, but like his defense always sucks, but he has the best wide receiver duo in the league every year.
They say it about
I think
also.
And his defense may suck, but like 2023, the Eagles had the worst defense in the NFL. We still made it to the playoffs. I think quarterbacks and winning, it definitely plays a little bit of a part of it. 100%. I just think there's a lot of good quarterbacks who have had great rosters, but like it feels like Jalen Hurts is the only one who like gets like flack for having a good team around him. I could agree, like the counting stats could be better with him. I've always thought that. I think 2022, if he never got hurt, he was on pace for like 5,000 yards and like 40 touchdowns.
Yeah, he would have won the MVP.
I think that's always been I feel like he's always had it in him to have like these high counting stat years, but I feel like our play calling is very passive sometimes. There has been times, like the offense doesn't seem like they're all like on the same page. Jalen Hurts plays a part in that for sure. He's not he doesn't get no blame for like our faults. I feel like that's another thing that I feel like people think Eagles fans just say Jalen Hurts is like he has no flaws, like he's a perfect quarterback. I don't think that at all. When I'm watching him, I'm very like critical of him. I feel like maybe it doesn't seem like that, but in my head I am. I think he's very capable of putting these counting stats up that we're talking about, and he might be given this good roster, but he doesn't waste them, I believe. I feel like he's done a lot with these good rosters, and a lot of quarterbacks. There's a lot of good quarterbacks who have had good rosters who haven't been able to, make a deep playoff run.
That's a great point, Noah.
Great point.
No, that's true. That's very true, and I think, and that's why I was saying like Jalen Hurts is closer to being a Hall of Famer than a lot of these guys that people will rate him over. That I can confidently say because he has the postseason success, and that's why I think he's such he's so polarizing. Because of that, like I said, besides Mahomes and like I said maybe Stafford, like you don't really get a better postseason record than Jalen Hurts. Went to the Super Bowl, traded blows for blows with Mahomes, and actually that's probably something I think is actually underrated about Jalen Hurts' game, is that he actually plays some of his best football in the playoffs. When you see Jalen Hurts in the playoffs, I'd be wondering sometimes. I'm like, well, where's this Jalen Hurts from week 1 to 17? But obviously, maybe he saves his best, for the playoffs. And I think that's why. And as you guys know, probably one of the most polarizing uh, quarterbacks in our league right now is Jalen Hurts. It's just because you look at the stats, right? And you say, like, there's some years where you're throwing for 3,000 yards, 3,200 yards, 3,000 yards. Like, yes, like stats don't mean much, but like in an era where, I would say middling quarterbacks are throwing for 4,000. It just looks a little bit odd, but like he definitely more than makes up for it in the playoffs. And like I said, you see some of his best stuff.
Jeremiah, to your point, if middling quarterbacks are throwing for 4,000 yards, then how valuable really is 4,000 yards? Like what's the value in that versus a win? A quarterback that's just going to go out there and win every week after week.
It's a good question. I think that the elites of the elites, as people say them, are typically throwing for a lot and have great stats on top of winning a lot. At least in the regular season. You talk about Mahomes, and this is like Mahomes and the Josh Allens and the Lamar Jacksons and the Matthew Staffords. They're putting up elite numbers and their team is winning, right? So I think there can be a little bit of both in there. Like I said, that's what makes him so polarizing. Like typically, like if you're an elite quarterback, you're throwing a lot, but your team is also winning. Unless you're like Joe Burrow, right? typically they kind of go hand in hand. Typically, and like sure, like if Jalen was someone who is an elite winner, but he's throwing for 3,800 yards, I think people would look at him a little bit different. I just think people look at years where he isn't asked to throw a lot. And I think also that's where it goes into like well-constructed roster. They're not asking him to do all these things. And people may think that's unfair because when you look at Josh Allen, he's asked to do all these things. And once again, that's not a Jalen Hurts problem. But I think
that's a Buffalo Bills problem.
That's a Buffalo Bills problem, 100%.
And a Josh Allen problem.
Yeah, that's 100%. Right? That is not a Jalen Hurts and an Eagles problem. But I think that the perception is that a quarterback like Josh Allen was asked to do more with less, as opposed to Jalen Hurts, who has been asked to get this team to the Super Bowl, and he's getting there, and he's winning. So that's why I say it's so difficult and hard to have a Jalen Hurts conversation, because at the end of the day, the name of the game is to win a Super Bowl, right? At the end of the day, the goal is to win. And Jalen Hurts does that. But when I look at it, is it Jalen Hurts that is doing this, or is it the Eagles that is doing it? And obviously Jalen Hurts is on the team, but I would probably attribute it more to the complete roster, and a little bit less to Jalen.
There's some truth to what you're saying. I think Noah made a really good point. Like, I think Eagle fans, we see flaws in his game. We may not say it out loud, but we're thinking it. But when we hear it come from a Dallas Cowboy fan, it strikes a nerve in us that we want to, with rage, that we just can't control. And like we're in a break room. I remember a couple of years ago, I was like, yo, I think Jameis Winston could do the same thing Jalen's doing. Remember I was saying all that stuff? Yeah. But when I hear someone like you say it, I lose my mind. I'm very protective, and we're very protective of Jalen.
I'm sorry, wait, Hurts. You said that and you were serious? You said
Jameis I said it in a moment. I said it in a moment of like
who spiked your coffee?
He'll throw for 400 yards in a game and have 6 interceptions also. Yeah. Like that guy.
The 2020 guy.
I don't have a problem with what Jeremiah said about Jalen Hurts. Like if somebody says he's a top 10 to 15 quarterback, I don't think that's the problem. I think that's with how the numbers have looked the past 2 years. Like that's fair to say. I just have a problem when people like, oh, he sucks, he can't throw. Like I feel like that's so like surface level of they're
just trolling.
Yeah, like I don't know. When I hear people say stuff like that, it's kind of like a brain dead take.
but
Yeah, that's
but like
silly.
even when like a person says, I rank Jalen 10 or 15, give me the quarterbacks that you rank in front of him, and I will tell you that Jalen Hurts has already beaten that guy. None of those guys have beaten Jalen Hurts. Josh Allen has not beaten Jalen Hurts. Lamar Jackson has not beaten Jalen Hurts. Matthew Stafford has played him 4 times, has not beaten Jalen Hurts. Mahomes has a
Jeremiah
winning
would
record against
Jeremiah
Jalen
would say
Hurts.
though, he would say winning is not a quarterback stat. If you say that,
Yeah,
so
so this is how we
Yeah,
see this conversation could go in
Yeah,
circles for
correct.
days and
oh,
days.
I
obviously.
don't think
Like,
just because Jalen Hurts beat someone that he's better than them. So
no. But like when it comes down to winning, it's like to me, like Chuck, the ultimate winner for Chuck in basketball is Michael Jordan. That's all that counts. Forget his
To
stats.
me, what do
He
you mean?
just
To me,
wins,
to
right?
everybody.
That's everything. The only stat that counts for me is a win. I don't care if Saquon rushed for 20 yards, but he had he had to score to win the game. That's all that matters. He
Correct.
could
I
do
think
that for
because
8 straight games.
yeah,
Jalen Hurts can throw for 80 yards 8 straight games, but if he leads the drive that leads to a winning field goal, that's all that matters. Tom Brady's first 4 Super Bowls, that's all he did was just play a mediocre game and have his defense and his kicker win the game. That's all that matters. He gets all the
right.
accolades. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
I think
And
because
then
Mitch was
Tom
so
became
much
an elite
losing.
thrower of the
Then he
football.
became an elite thrower, right? He
Correct.
became an elite thrower,
He
right?
had
And he
5,000
became an
yards
elite
in his
thrower
tweet.
as soon as Randy Moss showed up, right? Then he took it to another level with Randy Moss. Like, listen, every great player, every great quarterback needs a good team around him.
Sure.
Needs some solid um, players around him on both sides of the ball, all 3 sides of the ball, really, and a great coaching staff. Jalen, he has a great team, but he hasn't always had a great coaching staff. He always didn't have a great defense. He didn't always have AJ Brown. Um, AJ Brown made him better, but still, you could say that they should have been better, and the coaching staff held them back. Like I would love to see Jalen Hurts, and I hope this never happens, unless this guy comes to Philly. But I would love to see Jalen Hurts play under someone like Sean McVay, who's like an offensive mastermind, and see what type of player he becomes. Like we don't have that here in Philadelphia. We've never had that here in Philadelphia. Sean Mannion is not going to be that. As far as I can see right now, if I base it on preseason, it's not going to be that. But it's every great quarterback needs help. Troy Aikman, listen, your Dallas Cowboys. Did you watch? Were you alive for Troy Aikman? And all
I
right,
wasn't
so
alive when we
like,
were winning Super Bowls. I was born the year the last time we won.
so
But I'm
Troy
familiar with
Aikman,
our extremely stacked Cowboys
yeah,
teams in the
yeah,
90s.
right. And
100%.
like no one,
Yeah.
no one takes that away from Troy Aikman. The fact that he had Hall of Fame offensive linemen, Hall of Fame defenders, Hall of Fame running back, Hall of Fame
Great,
wide
great
receivers,
point,
right?
Troy. Great point.
No one ever takes that away from Troy Aikman, but everyone wants to take it away from Jalen,
Great point. And he
which is
wasn't a
And
prolific
and
passer. He
difficult.
and
didn't
to
have
be
the counting
fair,
numbers.
oh, you
What you
said
say,
he
Bobby?
wasn't a prolific passer.
No, he didn't
I
have the
was gonna
counting
say
numbers.
because
No,
he. Okay,
no,
I
he
was gonna say
wasn't.
probably because he looked like the prototypical quarterback at that time. But
Correct. Correct.
yeah,
And
So
looks have
that's
a
a
lot
good
to do
point. That
with it.
you do wonder how different Jalen Hurts might look at this point in his career if he had a guy like Sean McVay his entire tenure. Jeremiah, great stuff. Awesome analysis, great stuff. Want to
yeah,
know
I
your
do want to.
prediction
Yeah,
for
perfect. Yeah.
the Dallas Cowboys. What's the record? How many wins do you think they're gonna get?
That's a good question. I believe that we are either a 9-8 or 10-7 team.
You're such a
I,
coward.
9-8, 10 and
I
7.
You're
believe
such a
that
coward.
we. Why am I a coward? We
Yeah,
have
why
a
you call him
tough
a coward?
schedule.
Their
We
their
got a tough
schedule's tough.
schedule.
I'm looking at the schedule right now. They don't have an easy schedule. And if they come out on top, like I don't know, 11-6, 12-5, then Dallas is going. They're going far
We have such a
because it.
scary I'm gonna go through this stretch of
because that means
games
they're a really good team.
in the beginning of the season, starting at week 3. That kind of scares the crap out of me. Baltimore, you got Houston. That Texans defense, that's going to be a great test for how good our offense is.
Good point.
Tampa Bay, who I think is going to be solid. Green Bay, who we really can never beat. So, like that, I might just pick that up as an L. And then at Philadelphia. That's weeks 3 through 7. Tough. And then after that, you got Arizona, who it's easy to be like, oh, it's Arizona. But we also, another team that we just somehow can't beat. And then towards the end of the year, week 12, you got Philadelphia again on Thanksgiving. You got Seattle. You got the Rams. You got Jacksonville. This is a tough schedule. You guys have a tough schedule too, right? So
and you can't scoff at the Giants either. Giants week 1 you can't scoff at. They should be pretty competitive this year too.
Yeah, Jackson Dart got to prove to me that he's somebody. Jackson Dart is somebody who can't get healthy, got lit up in the preseason because his running back couldn't block for him. Like, yeah, I think the Giants front 7 is really elite, but how that is constructed, we'll see how it is. I'm actually fairly confident that we will win week 1 against the Giants, but you never know. But
what
yeah,
about
I think
the Redskins? What about the Commanders? I'm sorry.
The Commanders, yeah, I think we can beat the Commanders too. I think that I think that team is not talent rich at all. I'm not a big fan of, if your number 2 is Diggs, like, yeah, he had a solid year last year. I just think that team isn't constructed well enough for Daniels to really thrive. So I think this is a 2-man race in the NFC East. We will go as our defense goes. If we're closer to being in the 20s in defense, I think we have a 9-8, 10-7. If we have like a really good defense, you're telling me top half of the league. Oh, you'll probably see me week 7 or 8 saying, yeah, we're a 12-5 team, and we'll lose in the divisional round because that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, good points, Jeremiah. I think you're too analytical about it. I wanted some emotion. That's why I called you a coward. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So I was hoping you would come out, hey, 13-4 or whatever. Like, really,
the NFC
really
is
aim
tough.
high.
The NFC
is going to be tough.
The AFC has better quarterbacks probably overall, but I think the NFC has better teams overall. I think the NFC North is tough. I think the Rams are tough. Seattle's going to be tough.
Yeah, they're going to be tough.
I think that the Eagles are tough. I think that I think that we're in a conference that I think has better constructed teams. I know AFC is cool with their, we got Mahomes and we got Josh Allen and we got Lamar, we got Drake May. That's all great, right? But I think the better teams are actually in the NFC conference, and that's why it makes it so tough, because you got to go through some really, really tough opponents if you want to be a playoff team, especially this year.
Sure.
Good stuff. Well, Jeremiah, thank you for coming on. Awesome. Gonna definitely want to have you on again throughout the season. Chuck, anything else?
No, you were great, Jeremiah. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it for having me.
Definitely gotta get you on again. Maybe even recap the first matchup of Dallas Philly. Is that first game in Philly or Dallas?
It's at Philly. In Philly.
It's at Philly, yeah.
Week 5. That's week 5.
Week 7.
Week 7 in Philly. All right. Definitely looking forward to having you on again. But take it easy, and yeah, we'll talk soon.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
So, Dad, he gave you some pretty good insight on your wide receiver 1 for fantasy. CeeDee Lamb's going to have a few games with 4 catches and 12 yards. So just be on the lookout for those games.
Hold up. You're muted. I can't hear.
Sorry. Like I said, I am in love with no one on my fantasy team, and everyone is up for trades right now.
Hold up.
I'm open for business.
Hold up. What fantasy team you talking about?
This is a fantasy. This is a league at work. I had a draft last night.
You have CD wide receiver
I
one.
had the 9th pick, and I picked CD Lamb,
I'm in a
And-
I'm in
and
a
then I
fantasy
picked-
league.
and then I picked
sorry.
Javonte Williams 2 rounds later.
Man, Cowboys.
I
the
also
Cowboys
wanted to
win.
ask Jeremiah about fantasy. I'm upset that I hung up on him so quick.
What were you saying, Noah?
In my fantasy league that I have my friends, like my whole team's getting injured right now. Like I have Jamar
Yep.
Chase. He like almost tore his ACL in practice the other day. I don't know if you
Saw
saw that video. I have Jeremiah Love and Ashton Genty. Jeremiah Love, he hurt his ankle in the first preseason game, which I watched. He looked pretty good. I don't think it was that serious. I saw him walk a little gingerly. And Genty, like they thought he tore his ACL too, but it was only an ankle sprain. And in that in that fantasy league, we're doing a punishment where you got to drink a gallon of milk and then run a mile if you lose.
What?
That is excellent.
What? On every loss?
No, like if you
No,
come in
whoever
last.
comes in last.
Oh, if you just come in last. Oh, okay.
That's excellent.
Is
I'm
it?
throwing that up.
Very doable.
But I'm pretty sure I have CD
That's a good
Lamb
one.
and, I have CD Lamb and Jamar Chase and on that team. And Neighbors, who also is injured.
Jeez, how'd you get all three of those
Yeah,
guys?
how'd you get this?
Because I'm
this
pretty
team?
sure nobody wanted to take. I took Chase and CD Lamb my first 2 picks, and then nobody wanted to take Neighbors because he is always injured. And I took Genty and then Neighbors, I think.
You know what? Yeah, that makes sense.
Jeremiah Love.
It's so funny how drafts actually pan out compared to like mock drafts that you do, because it's never like that. I totally see that happening, but that would never happen in a mock draft. Noah, are you playing in Raise League as well?
No, I'm not.
Dang, so we'll be playing against Noah in fantasy this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Won't you split the team with your dad? Co-manage.
We could do that. You want to do that, no?
No.
Come on, I want to hear
Wow.
the arguments. I want to hear the arguments.
Yeah, that's all that we did when we did that. I remember doing that with you.
Yeah.
Come on, we can co-manage.
It wasn't that bad actually.
Kobe, you can co-manage my team with this Oppenheimer league.
With Jalen
Second
Hurts,
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
You have Hurts as your
I can get
quarterback?
on board with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have Hurts, CD Lamb, Javonte Williams, H.N. Who's my second? McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
That's a squad too. Wow.
Goddard.
How many teams?
12.
10 teams? It's 12.
12.
Wow, that's a good
And you
squad.
have Swift.
I don't have Swift. I got Kyron Williams.
Oh, you don't have Swift? Oh, Kyron.
No, I
that's
picked
your
up.
third.
I picked up Kyron Williams. I should have picked up the kid from Jacksonville. What's his name?
Basil too.
Tootin?
Yeah.
I have him too.
Yeah. How do you have all these guys? Like, who are you playing against? 9-year-olds? That's
You got
what
an
you're drafting
18
against?
There was
league?
only like 8. There was only 8 people in there,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
but nobody knew about Basil too, and I knew about him last year. So.
Oh, that makes sense. Is he going to be the number one? Because I know they have Chris Rodriguez there too. Like, what's the deal with
I think he's gonna
that backfield?
He should be.
Okay. Good intel. No, I heard you also were killing kids on the basketball court pretty recently.
No.
I-
We lost in a game to like our 50-year-old
To your cousin Aaron.
cousin. Who else is on the team?
To your 7-year-old cousin?
No.
They may have paid off the referee. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, and Dad was just freaking.
Was he calling BS? Was he out there like
Yes.
Hugh
Who was that?
Hollins?
Who
He's out
was
there like
that?
Hugh Hollins?
That ref that was
Scott
gambling on?
Scott Foster?
Yeah. No, was it Scott? Maybe Scott.
He's out there calling.
I was
shit
taking
like Scott
bribes.
Foster, huh?
I was taking bribes and protecting my daughter.
Oh no, that's Donahue, right?
Down here, there we go. Yeah,
Donahue was the one taking bribes or
yeah.
making
So-
bets and shit.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
guys.
stuff, good
We
stuff.
have-
I was killing Dad on the pickleball court.
Stop lying.
Oh,
He was not.
I-
I was killing him and Zach.
I still don't understand how you were playing pickleball and not basketball.
Like I told you, and I told
It's
them,
concerning. It's concerning for me.
if I could, I can't push like that. I could swing down. I can't like push a basketball.
If I told 16-year-old Chuck that
don't-
he would forego
he would
playing
cry.
basketball for pickleball,
He would cry himself to sleep.
that's actually funny.
Yeah, he would cry himself to sleep. But yeah, I just couldn't do it. Zach, Zach's there. I was telling you you're taking fadeaways against Mia. That's sad.
against me.
Were you screaming Wemby as you were shooting these jumpers, Zach?
Hold up. Were you on a winning team? You were on a losing team, weren't you? Yeah, I was me. I'm talking about the game when Aaron dominated you guys. It was a little slippery, yeah. We had a good time though.
My team sold. My team sold, man.
Wait, so you guys were,
Bron?
Like Bron.
LeBron James Jr.
so
You
Bronny?
played low
wait,
key.
wait. So Noah and Zach, you guys were teammates?
Yeah, the two biggest guys on the court.
And you guys were
Zach,
going
how
against,
tall are you?
He's like 6. No, he's like 6'1", dude.
I was ready for him to say like 6'4".
He's like 6'1",
What?
at least.
And you're going against Mia and who else?
Mia, Aaron, my nephew Jonathan, and Drew.
Drew was on our team.
Oh, Drew was on your team. Who was your
It
four?
was a 3-on-3. It was 3-on-3.
No, it's 4-on-4.
4-on-4 half court.
Yeah, it was tight.
Who picked
There's
these?
no space.
Who picked these teams? Did you shoot for the teams, or was there
I don't. They were
You're like
pre-made,
a
I guess.
captain.
I don't
No, actually, Nana's husband Major was on our team.
Major, yeah. He
Oh
picked the
my
team.
gosh.
He was the best player.
Oh, Major. So Major was a fourth for you, or
No, didn't. Drew subbed in for him.
Drew stepped in for him. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
How did Mia play?
Oh, it was little A. Little A was the other person.
How did
we
Mia
good
play?
game. You
Dad,
play good.
Dad wasn't letting me play any defense on her, even though he wants me to.
That's not true.
Every time I stole it from her, he would call a foul.
I could totally see that. I could totally see that.
It
He
was
took away about
contact.
like 3 of my 3-pointers because he called a foul on me stealing it.
You were
That's
pushing
not-
off like Jalen Brown. So
By the way, Chuck, did you win your pickleball championship?
no, we lost. It's
In the
okay.
finals?
We lost in the we lost in the playoffs, and we played for the third place,
Mm-hmm.
and we lost that.
Oh.
So I mean, we had a good season. I messed
I'm
with good
sorry to hear
people.
that.
Did you
it's
cry?
okay. It was fun.
Did you
I love
cry?
it. No, the fall season starts September 10th, so I'm getting ready for that. Yeah, bruh.
Who's your dude?
How long is the season?
8 weeks.
And then you're off for
Sounds-
2 weeks and start it up again.
Start the fall. So it's gonna be November, and it's gonna be freezing out there, and we're gonna be playing.
Do you have a winter season?
No,
So there's no
unless they
indoor
do it indoors.
courts
I'm not gonna do
anywhere?
it. They can do an indoor one, but I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay.
So, Troy, you gotta get into it, big. It could be us. We could be that squad. Your speed and my strength. Come on, dude.
No,
You can do
I'm
it.
gonna go all out and tear my Achilles.
I do worry about that. I do. Oh, I step on the court. I was like, "Is this the day my Achilles is gonna pop? Is this the day?" So, that is a thing.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Anything else we want to get to? That was a good football conversation with Jeremiah. Pretty quiet on the basketball front, being still in the off season. But Eagles
Yeah,
got their
You know
next
what?
preseason game. Yep.
the only, I mean, maybe next pod we can talk about it because it still be a story. It looks like LeBron had some connection to that. Um, the guy who sold the Lakers. I thought was interesting. I don't know if you guys read about that. Pablo Torre did
I,
something about it. Did a
I've read
little
a
quick
little
hit
bit
about it.
about it, but I don't know the depth of it. So
And Troy, you're in finance, so you need to break this down. Like, we need to our next pod. You need to do some homework and break this whole thing down for us.
okay, I'll try.
A lot of insurance fraud, insurance money. Magic Johnson's involved in a weird way.
Well, I think like Magic's going to be involved because he's part owner of the Dodgers, and this guy's part owner of the Dodgers
He
also.
is, but and again, this is I hate to put this out in the atmosphere, but there's something about the guy who bought the Dodgers and the Lakers used money from his insurance company to buy these teams. He also helped Magic buy an insurance company. He like loaned him money to
Mm-hmm.
do it, and people are questioning where that money came from. LeBron got a loan, a $300 million loan from one of the insurance companies what is it, Mark Walters? One of the insurance companies that he owns. So it's a lot of like this, weird rich people connections that
Yeah.
looks illegal and illegal enough where he had to sell the Lakers or be investigated. Like it's saying he was pressured to sell the Lakers or get investigated. So he still might go to jail. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to jail.
So yeah, read up on it, and maybe you could like translate some of that stuff that's happening and see if LeBron's going to be caught up in that crazy web of craziness.
He won't be.
He won't be.
That'll be our finance corner for our next episode.
Yeah, we do need a finance corner.
Speaking of jail, you see, Josh Jacobs got arrested. Did he get arrested for like a battery charge?
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I think he is. He was formally charged by the DA with two misdemeanors. Probably should have been more. Misdemeanor
need a-
battery and misdemeanor criminal damage to property.
We need a police blog corner as well.
Yeah. Listen, you guys don't want to talk about the Phillies. Oh, I thought you guys would want to talk about the Phillies with the 9-game win streak that they went on and the amazing comebacks and everything.
Every time we
I
talk
haven't
about
been
the
excited.
Phillies, Kobe's like, "Oh, you guys are making a big deal about the regular season." Here, see, he's already making fun of us.
There you go.
He's always making fun of us.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean,
Are you excited about this? You know how they're playing now?
no. So you said something a couple pods ago. We were getting off. You were like, I think Noah had mentioned the Phillies had won 6 in a row, and you were like, "Oh, what happened? They lost 7 of 9 or something like that."
Right.
I don't get too crazy with the ebbs and flows with baseball. Was it nice to win 9 in a row? Absolutely. But I know, like, you know what? A losing streak is right around the corner. It just happens. That's how
Yeah.
baseball works. What I'm concerned about, I want to make sure they get into the playoffs. I don't care how they do it. Winning division, wild card, luck. I don't really care. And after that, playoffs is random. If they just get on like a little hot streak, the pitching's going to be the consistent part of their team. But if they're hitting, if Bohm gets on fire for a month, if Scherzer gets plays like he usually plays,
Sounds like a lot of ifs are coming.
yeah. But that's how it works. That's how baseball works. It's just you just hope your players get hot at the right time. And
It doesn't work like that for the Dodgers, but continue.
Yes, the Dodgers, whose owner is about to go to jail.
Listen,
So yeah,
I
it
wish-
doesn't work like
I
for
wish
them.
my owner was about to go to jail.
Oh yeah,
We
well
had two
if that's the
Super
case, then
Bowl
yeah,
series.
then there you go. So we'll see what happens. Let's get to the playoffs, and I think it is random. You're right. Dodgers are just right now on a different level because there's no salary cap in baseball. They could do things that they had a ton of money. We don't know where that money came from. We have an idea where it came from now. So they could buy away their mistakes. I think that Kyle Tucker signing I think they're regretting it, but they can just make it up in other ways where other teams can't. But yeah, I just want the Phillies to get to the playoffs and, go from there. And they're in a good position to do it.
I think that sometimes the Phillies go on their little streaks and stuff, and it's cool and all, but I think them on this little one streak they've been on, it's different because they're firing on offense and pitching. I'm pretty sure they're like number one in ERA or something, and also in batting average and OBP, which is good. It's how the winning looks sometimes instead of just winning. I feel like we've gone on streaks where, we're scoring like 2 runs a game, but like the pitching is holding us in, so like we just end up squeezing through. But I think ever since we got Luis Arias, we've been like the best hitting team in the league. So I'm hoping that can stay true going into the playoffs. Also, Painter and Nola have been pitching like they could, maybe win a game for us. So hopefully that could.
They won't
stay
be in
true
the
as well.
playoffs rotation though.
Why? One of them has to be.
I guess Nola maybe, but yeah, not both of them. But yeah, Painter's been pitching okay. He's had a ton of run support, but yeah, I give him credit.
Wait, Kobe,
Where are you guys in the division right now?
We're
We're a couple games behind the Berries.
about 4 games. So Kobe, give us
Were you gonna ask Noah?
give us
No, I
a
wanna-
Yankee
I
update.
wanna
So I
ask
can put
Kobe
Yankee and
something.
Cowboys in the description.
A Yankees update?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people right now are down on the Yankees. Like Fernando Cruz just got one of our top relievers, just got put on the IL. And a lot of people just don't think that we're gonna make a deep run in the playoffs. Like there were too many injuries, Judges, still missing time. When George Lombard came onto the scene, like he was like I said before, a breath of fresh air. But even like he in the infield, like he made 3 errors in 3 games recently. So everybody is just like really negative right now about the Yankees. I'm not that way. Like I think there's a lot of baseball left to go in the regular season. They won their last game 9-3. They're only 3.5 out of first place. So I mean, if you win the division, you'll obviously set yourself up for home field advantage in the playoffs. So I mean, I think there's a lot of baseball left to be played. Are they playing their best baseball right now? No. Are they looking like a team that's favored to go to the World Series right now out of the AL? I don't think so, but there's a whole month left. So Judge, he's going to come back at some point this year. And I think that we'll see the best of them in October. So I'm excited. But
What do you think of the Phillies getting
We'll see.
your boy Nestor Cortez?
oh, I didn't know you guys got Nestor. I didn't know that. I love Nestor. I think that he's a gamer. Like he understands how to compete, how to be a competitor. Does he still have the stash?
I don't know.
Is he even so did you guys get him as a starter or a reliever?
I think he'll probably be a reliever. I think he could be good as in low leverage situations in the playoffs for
Yeah.
us. I think they'll probably also do that with like Painter or something, which is cool. I don't want to see him like in bottom of the 9th, like what the Yankees did in the World Series. But
Yeah, that was unfair to him. He should have never been put in that position. That was not on Nestor. That was on the Yankees because he was just
100%.
coming back. But yeah, like he's somebody that you want in your locker room, I would say, because he's a great personality. He, like I said, he's a gamer. He knows how to compete. Doesn't throw the hardest. Like is gonna have to get by on his breaking ball and off speed pitches, but he should be a good addition for you guys.
it's kind of like a more awkward version of Ranger. Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, he definitely has an awkward delivery, I would say.
Speaking of Ranger,
Unconventional.
Kobe, are you worried about the Red Sox? And is Tampa Bay, who has like, I don't know, a quarter of the payroll as the Yankees, are they for real?
I think they have to be if they've been in first place for the entire season. So
Pretty much. Yeah.
you have to take them for real. The playoffs are a different story. I don't think they have a whole lot of guys that have. I mean, Randy Arozarena, we've seen him do his thing in the playoffs. But Boston's only a game and a half behind. Yeah, they're right there. So I mean, the division is still up for grabs between those three teams, I think. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
We wanted to
See what
take that
happens.
smug look off your face when you talk about the Yankees and the Phillies, who's been the exact
We-
same team for the
What's
last
wrong?
15 years.
That's just my face.
They've been the
I can't
same
control my
exact team for
face.
the last 15 years.
I want to ask Troy, does he think?
No. No.
Do you think Bryce Harper is elite, Troy? Or no?
Do I think he's elite?
I was thinking about
Like
this week. too.
Otani elite?
I
Ohtani
feel like
has been
elite's like the
electric.
top 20.
Nobody-
player in- top 20 player in baseball. No, is that fair?
Top 20?
Like, what do you think the elite? Like, if I think in the elite guys in the NBA, I'm thinking like the top 15, 20 guys. So I would say that.
I guess. But that means nothing to me until he does it, until he proves it in the playoffs.
Yeah,
He
I
does
think
that.
I think he's elite.
Every year.
So you don't think
I
like a
don't-
top? You don't think like a top 7 OPS in the sport is elite production?
Yeah, I do. Is he top 7? He's like a 9. He's a 930 OPS or something like that, right? What's his OPS?
Pretty high.
Is
You
he
gotta
top
understand.
7?
I don't think it's 930. I think it's like 890. But still.
Everything you guys are talking about right now, it doesn't matter to me. It never will matter to me. It has to happen.
this
I
is the
need to
only-
see it in the
But
playoffs.
Bryce Harper does that in the playoffs. He has like 1,000 OPS.
He does not.
Yes.
He's done it in the playoffs. It's not like he does it every year.
But that's not baseball, Troy. This is not like
Chuck, you
basketball.
keep telling me it's not baseball.
it does
but
that.
I keep watching a lot of other
So-
players get into situations and
Is
they
Aaron
come
Judge-
through.
Is Aaron Judge
I'm not
elite?
saying
'Cause he
I'm
doesn't-
not
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
let's talk
I'm
about
not,
Aaron Judge's
no.
playoffs performance.
Why is he?
Listen,
Why is
Aaron
Aaron
Judge-
Judge catching a straight right now?
I don't know.
Because we were
I
talking
don't
about
know.
the
I don't know why.
Yankees. I
Because
think Aaron Judge. I think
Your
Aaron
dad
Judge is
has
like
these
the.
really crazy,
I think
unrealistic
Aaron Judge is the
expectations for
best
a baseball
hitter
player.
in the MLB.
And guess what?
Yeah,
He
he
does not. It doesn't show in the playoffs. It does not show in the playoffs with Aaron Judge.
But you would still say he's elite, right? Aaron Judge.
I don't care. The only thing I care about are the playoffs and winning. You got to come through when it matters the most. And if you don't, and if you do it in the regular season and you don't do it in the playoffs and you keep doing it in the regular season and don't do it in the playoffs, the regular season means nothing. It means nothing.
That's also why Derek Jeter is the greatest shortstop of all
That's
time.
why Derek Jeter matters to me. That's why he matters to me. He wasn't the best shortstop. He wasn't the best hitter. He wasn't the best anything until the playoffs happened, and then all of a sudden he takes off. It's the reason why Jalen Hurts. It's the reason why I like Jalen Hurts. He may do nothing in the regular season.
Well, I think
Playoffs
that
comes around, he raises his level of play, and that's the
I
most
think that-
important thing to me.
I think that argument makes more sense in football. I think in baseball, it's just that doesn't.
Chuck,
It
Chuck
just
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
make
but it does. Chuck, I understand that you fail more times than not, more times than you succeed in baseball. I understand that, but you can't continuously fail. You have to come up to bat, and at some point in time, you're going to come up to bat. Just succeed once,
Yeah.
once or
And
twice. That's all. That's all
look
I'm
at-
asking for.
Well, two things. Look at Bryce Harper's OPS. When you say that, look at his OPS. The other thing is, I want you to, in your opinion, name the best 5 baseball players, and then of all time, and then look at their World Series. How many World Series they won? And then that should like answer your question. That baseball is so random.
But that my thing is, I don't look at regular season stats with baseball. I only care what happens in the playoffs.
Oh, that's what I meant. Like look at Bryce Harper's OPS in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and then look at the top 5 baseball players you've ever seen that you've seen. I'm not talking about like Babe Ruth and stuff like that. That you've seen. Add up. Look at their success in the play, like their World Series. Let's look at their World Series wins. It's the best I've ever seen. Bonds, Griffey, Frank Thomas,
Mike Trout's been played
Mike
in like
Trout.
one
And
playoff
let's see, and
series
you're,
his whole
but
career.
see, I guess here's the difference between you and I. You're naming a bunch of players that they're not high on my list.
Who would be your top 5?
Yeah, who
Like
is
Derek
that?
Derek Jeter's high on my list.
He's high on my list too, but he's not Barry Bonds.
I would take him over
He's
Barry
not
Bonds.
Griffey.
I will take him over Griffey every single day
I
of
can't.
the week.
I can't.
Every single day of the week. And you can call me crazy or not, but you're gonna call me crazy, and I'm gonna have a bunch of World Series championship trophies in my hands.
Okay. All right.
And
If
that's all I care
if
about.
that's I can't win.
That's all I
So
care about.
27 to be exact.
Give me Big Papi over
27.
Barry
I'm not giving
Bonds.
I give you the
Give me
first
Big Papi.
15. Did the Yankees even play against like black or Latin players? Like I don't even know. So no, I'm not even. I'll give you.
All right, so he'd have
Give
5
me-
because
all right,
Jeter has
give
5.
me, give me Jeter. Give me Big Papi. Give me Mookie
Big
Betts.
Papi is one of the best players you ever seen.
Dude, when it counts.
Mike
when it
Trout.
counts,
And his
yes.
steroid.
Mike
Yeah, it
Trout,
counts.
4-time MVP. He's been to one playoff series.
One playoff
doesn't have
series.
playoff.
That means forget you can have all the MVPs you want. Take them.
But it's not his fault. I don't think he can't pitch. He can't
don't
pitch
care.
and hit.
He was on
Listen.
the team with Shohei Ohtani, and they missed.
He was on the team with Shohei, and they still didn't make the playoffs.
So I mean, if you're the best player, it does come down to if you're the best player, the two best players, it does come down to you guys that we didn't. You guys are basically the reasons why we couldn't go further than we did.
No, they're pitching, and the rest of the team that's baseball's random. It's
Okay.
it's such a difference. I think your argument holds weight.
Why
in
is it
football.
why is it random for some players but not all players? And I
Look, the
mean that
Yankee
by
team was-
saying like it's random, but like there are certain players.
No,
who
there's like a
produce-
handful of players, and they all play for the Yankees. Don't give me certain players.
No,
There's a handful of players that mostly Yankees.
I just named Mookie Betts. I just named Big Papi. Derek
Mo-
Jeter.
Mookie Betts is on the Dodgers, which is the Yankees.
He's on the
I,
Dodgers. Like,
that's no, but Mookie Betts was also on the Red Sox.
but
was a
did they
great
win a World
team.
Series winners there?
I'm just
They
saying,
did,
like,
yeah.
2018.
They did.
Okay. All right.
so like those are the type of players that, when it comes down to it, that I'm going to pay more attention to, versus the guy who puts up great regular season numbers, but in crunch time they disappear.
So this is my last question. You saw
Mhm.
Bryce Harper play in the playoffs, and you said, "Oh, it's his fault that the Phillies lost." That was
No.
your okay. So good. That's all I
well,
want.
listen,
That's all I want.
I'll give me Jimmy Rollins and Utley and Howard.
No, you answered my question. That's all I want to know. Like you saw him perform in the playoffs.
Mhm.
He's really besides last year, he was the only really player that was showing up for the Phillies in the playoffs. You saw him play, and you said
You mean
you said
besides
yourself,
last year?
it's
What do you mean
Bryce
besides
Harper's
last
fault
year? What do you mean besides last year?
because his that was his worst playoff performance. Every other year,
What
he's
about
been
against
spectacular.
against the Mets?
He was him and Casty were the only people that hit. Though the two players hit, it was him and Castellanos.
Okay, when he's the last person up the bat,
Troy's two least favorite players of all time.
Yeah.
when he's the last,
The only
person
two
up the
players that hit
bat-
against that Met series were
Okay,
him and
listen.
Casty. That is it.
Okay, when he's the last person up the bat, or when he's up the bat more than anybody because of his place in the lineup, and he gives me one hit in a big game, or in a big game against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I'm gonna pull up Mets. In fact, can someone
or
pull up the Met
against
series?
the
for me?
Arizona
He was
Diamondbacks.
spectacular in the Met series.
And they get
Spectacular.
they get shut out against the Diamondbacks in a big game. Like who am I supposed to look at? I look at Bryce Harper. I look at Schwarber. I look at everybody, the top guys in our lineup. That in big moments they couldn't do it, right? Fine, if it happens once, I can forgive that. I can forgive that.
The
If it happens
numbers
twice,
the numbers
if
would
it happens
say
twice, If it happens twice, I'm a little concerned. But if I see it 3 times, now it's just like, dude, I don't care what you do in the regular season anymore. I need to see it in the playoffs. You've been here. You got this team has been together for 5 years. They've been a good team, sometimes a great team, but they still haven't brought home the trophy. Like if this team
Boom.
breaks up next year, what are you going to say about this squad?
That's a better
This-
argument. When you
what are you
kept
going to say
saying
about
the
this era of
team-
the Phillies?
the team didn't do it. I don't get it. Bryce Harper has been fantastic.
He's
The
a
team
huge
overall
part of
has
the
been better.
team. He's one of
Yeah,
the biggest
I
parts
agree.
of the team.
But it is
so-
a team. It is a team. It is a team.
Fool me 3 times, F the peace sign.
Kobe, every time you speak and you're after your dad talks about baseball, I want to lose it because your Yankees are doing the exact same thing your dad is complaining about, and you say nothing. It drives me crazy. You're not allowed to talk. What do you have to talk about? Unless you push back on your dad.
I
The
just,
Yankees do the exact same thing.
listen.
They're the
Listen.
same,
I just
it's
told
the
you
same
we're
team,
struggling.
but they play in New York.
I just told you we're struggling. We're playing like the Phillies right now.
Wow. The last 15 years, the Phillies and the Yankees have been the exact same team.
Except we wear pinstripes, and we have
Except you
27
were pin-
championships.
pinstripes. Exactly.
and
yeah.
and and,
we wear
and
pinstripes
this is
sometimes.
considered this is considered a good time to be a Philly and a Phillies fan.
No, the fans aren't like thrilled.
No, this is a great time. This has been a great stretch for the Phillies.
Yeah, I've been enjoying myself. I've been enjoying myself this season.
Right. For the Yankees, this is not really their greatest stretch. You know what I mean? Like, so there's, you could
Well,
say they're
whatever the
king-
reason,
they're the
it's the
king-
exact
Different
same team.
expectations.
but
Yeah,
Different
it's
expectations.
still exact. I don't care how you want to play. Look at it in terms of expectations. It's the exact same team. Like exactly.
All right. Well, we'll see what kind of noise the Phillies make as we make a run towards October, and if you guys can talk any more smack to me in regards to my Yankees, because I think we
I just
will
want
get
you to
hot.
push back on your
And
dad. That's all I want.
what he doesn't have to talk smack to me.
No, I'm not smack. I want him to push back a little bit. That's all I'm asking.
Push back on
A
what?
smidge.
What is he pushing back on?
Because you go on these monologues about like winning and what that looks like.
What? That is,
And-
well, let me ask you a question. Why does any one of these guys play this game outside of the
Oh
money?
yeah,
They
I
play
agree with that.
to win. That's
But
the
to
most
say
important
Bryce
thing.
Harper, and I don't want to dwell on this too much. To say Bryce Harper hasn't performed in the playoffs is insane talk.
He has performed in the playoffs. He has. Okay, he has performed in the playoffs. I'm not saying he's never performed in the playoffs, but recent playoffs, he has not. I need some of these players to step up in big moments, and they haven't. That's all.
yeah, I
The
don't,
thing
I
that
don't
has
think
failed-
that's.
Listen, the thing that has failed the Phillies the past 3 years has been hitting. Period.
Well,
Period. Period. You may
Kirk
say, all right,
Cousins.
we had this relief pitcher. The relief pitcher did something stupid on the mound. But you know what? If our bats were weak, it would never gotten down to that play by the relief pitcher.
And then listen, if I'm being honest, the one thing I can critique my dad on and push back on him for is seeing it from one side. Like you have a tendency, Dad, to look at it from your team side. You don't always see it from, oh, they're playing a great team, and you have to kind of give the other side credit for what happened.
No. Listen, other teams.
Like with the Phillies losing in the playoffs to the
You
Dodgers.
cannot throw the claps for yourself. All right, you can't throw the claps for yourself. Listen, I can say that they're
You do have that
playing
tendency.
a great team. Okay, I can say that they're playing a great team.
But you don't
But
you
the
don't
Phillies,
usually say
quote
that.
unquote.
You
But
always
the Phillies, quote unquote, are supposed to be a great team too, right? So I don't want. So I'm not going to excuse their lack of production because they were just playing the Dodgers. That's not what I'm going to do. If the Phillies were playing a certain way all year long and all of a sudden stopped, it's not all because they were playing a great team.
That's fair. That's fair. But it's like when you say you're going to get rid of guys after they get crashed out in the playoffs by the Dodgers, you think that they need to blow the team up, but they were literally just in like a series against the team that won the World Series. They had him.
No.
They had him there. They were like 1 or 2 plays away from winning. You want to blow the team up the next day.
No.
That
Oh, that's Chuck. That's Chuck doing it. Stop it. Stop it right now. Listen, when I say
That's where I
they
disagree
should
with
blow
you.
the team up, I was talking 2 or 3 years ago. They should have blew the team up. They should have got rid of certain players, and they kept those players, and those players turned around and didn't produce in big moments.
No, well, the we're talking about like the only person. I guess they got to get rid of Bohm. They couldn't get rid of Cassie. Like that Met series, him and Hart Bryce were the only people that hit. Like at what point we have got rid of them? It's. I think it's easy to look back and say, well, I should have got rid of so and so.
No,
Maybe
I wasn't looking
Bohm.
back. I was saying it in the moment. When we lost to Houston, and then when we lost to the Diamondbacks. When we lost to Houston, I was like, Bohm, Marsh, and Stout. Yes, I was saying Marsh. I was like, those 3 guys, we need to upgrade those 3 guys. And they did not do it. And then I said the same thing again.
So when you
the
say that,
following
what
year.
happened? What happened after the like? Okay, you said get rid of them.
Nothing happened.
Well,
kept them.
they made. I know, and they made the playoffs. They won divisions. Like it, they still were a good team.
If that's what floats your boat, that's fine. That's not what floats my boat. I don't care about winning the division. I don't care about winning a pennant. I want to win World Series. I want to be the Dodgers. The Dodgers win a World Series. They still upgraded. Now you could say they did it underhandedly because of the owner's a thief and all this other stuff, but still.
Well, how's your boy
They
Bo
did
Bichette
it.
doing? That you wanted to sign? How's he doing?
I don't know. I don't care. He didn't sign with us, so
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Play to win the game. We'll see how many more games the Phillies will win the rest of the season. But for now, guys, we're going to tune out. We're going to enjoy the weekend going into Friday tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoy the weekend. Good luck to all your fantasy drafts. And we will talk to you next week. Take it easy.
Kobe, I've never been more proud of you.
Powered by Riverside.
this guy can kick out the house.